So, study today, rather revise today the measures of central tendency for a continuous frequency distribution. So, here we have a problem which says the following are the salary of 66 managers of ABC organization in rupees thousands. Calculate the mean, median, and the modal salary. So that is the problem that has been given here. We know that there are three measures of central tendency: mean, mode, and median. So here we are asked to find out the value of these three central tendencies or averages. So first we will be going to calculate the mean salary of this distribution. Now, what is the distribution that they have given us? Between 30 to 39, that is in thousands definitely, you have 12 people. Between 40 to 49, there are 13 managers. 50 to 59, there are 25 managers. 60 to 69, 10 managers. And 70 to 79, there are 6 managers. So that speaks about 66 managers in all. So that summation F which we have got is equal to 66. The lower class limit for the first class is 30 and the upper class limit is given to be 39. Now we have to find the mean salary. Technically speaking, there are three specific methods through which we calculate the mean salary. The first method is the straightforward method which we talk about. But before we get on to the straightforward method, let's have an understanding of this particular frequency distribution. Now this frequency distribution, if we find, it is 30 to 39 and the next class starts from 40. Definitely there is a gap of 1 unit between the upper class limit of the previous class and the lower class limit of the succeeding class. And this difference is what we term as the value of D. We have to convert this discontinuous frequency, that makes it a discontinuous frequency distribution. So to convert that into a continuous frequency distribution, what do? We convert the class limits into class boundaries. And how do we make the class boundaries? It is lower class boundary is equal to lower class limit minus d by 2 and upper class boundary is upper class limit plus d by 2. So here d is equal to 1. So 1 by 2 is equal to 0.5. So for the first case, we have 30 minus 0.5. The first value of lower class boundary is 29.5. And here it will be 39.5. So we are just subtracting 0.5 from the lower class limits. 50 will be having 49.5. 60 will be having 59.5. And 70 will be having 70 minus 0.5 as 69.5. So these are your lower class boundaries. And upper class boundaries, I said it will be 0.5 added to the upper class limit. So it is 39.5 here, 49.5 here, 59 will become 59.5 and 69 will become 69.5 and 79 will become 79.5. So that's how we calculate or rather find out the lower class boundary and the upper class boundaries. And therefore, the first class will be actually from 29.5 to 39.5. Now, if we have to find out the class width, it is upper class boundary minus lower class boundary. Now, we are asked to find out the mean, and the straightforward method says summation fx by summation f. That is the formula. Now, what is x? X is actually the class mark. Class mark is actually the midpoint value or mid value of each class. Now, how do we find out the class mark for each class? It is lower class boundary plus upper class boundary divided by 2, or lower class limit plus upper class limit divided by 2. The value will definitely remain the same. So it is 30 plus 39 divided by 2, 69 divided by 2, it is 34.5. The next is 89.5 will be 44.5. 40 plus 49 means 89, divided by 2, it's 44.5. 50 plus 59, that's 109, divided by 2 will give us the value of 54.5. Here it will be 129 divided by 5, it is 64.5. And the last one will be 74.5. So that gives us the values of the class marks. Now we have to find out the fx values. That means we have to multiply each of the frequencies, corresponding frequencies, with the class marks. So 12 into 34.5. So the first value is 414. The second value is 44.5 into 13, giving you 578.5. The third one is 25 into 54.5, giving you 1362.5. Next is 64.5 into 10, it is 645. And the last one is 6 into 74.5, the value is 447. And if you sum it up, you'll find the value is coming to be 3447. So now if we have to calculate the value of mean, we will just substitute the value of summation fi which is 3447 by summation of f, that is summation of fi, which we know is the value of 66. And if we solve it, we will find the value to be 52,000 or 52.227, and since it is given in thousands, so the mean salary will be rupees 52,227 is the mean salary which we have calculated by the straightforward method. It is the straightforward method. Now, when we were calculating by the straightforward method, definitely when you were asked to multiply 12 into 34.5, what you must have done is you must have used your calculator. So you are compelled to use a particular device, right? Device for this calculation, because it is a bit of complicated calculation. Now, to make the calculation simple, we actually go in for implementing the other types of methods. Another method, the second method which we use, is said to be the shortcut method, right? Definitely for simplification of calculation is our motive. That is the motive which we have. Now in this, we actually introduce a constant, or what we say, a concept called an assumed mean, which is any particular constant. And usually the general practice is that we pick up the middlemost class, and the class mark of that middlemost class is usually considered to be the assumed mean. So this is a constant value, and the value of a, that is the assumed mean, is taken to be the class mark of the middlemost value. Now here we didn't have any problem because there were 5 classes and so the middlemost class was very predominant here, and so we could find 54.5. Now you may ask the question, ma'am, instead of 5 classes, if we had 6 classes, what would have been? Then we would have checked out the third and fourth class, right? 2 classes would have been there, and usually the general practice is we go by the class which is having a higher frequency, and we take the class mark of that particular class as our assumed mean. And then what do? We calculate the deviation of the other class marks from that particular value, assumed value that we have taken. So this one will be d, the deviation is given by x minus a. So for the first class, xi value is 34.5. So d value will be 34.5 minus 54.5. So the value is minus 20. Here the value will be 44.5 minus 54.5, the value will be minus 10. Here 54.5 is equal to 0, and here it is 64.5 minus 54.5, giving the value to be plus 10, and here we have the value as 74.5 minus 54.5 as plus 20. The moment it becomes minus 10 and plus 10 and 20, it becomes much easier to calculate. See, now if we have to multiply between f and d, so we get the value as 20 into 12 with a minus sign, that's minus 240. That is the first FD value. This will give you 13 into minus 10 is minus 130. Here the value will be 0, and here it is plus 100, and here we get the value to be 120. 6 into 20 is 120. So here on this side with the positive sign we have 220, and here on this side we have it as 370. So FD will be minus 150 as the value as the summation FD value. So from the shortcut method we get the value of mean to be A plus summation FD by summation Fi. So the summation F which we talk about. Now A, the value we have taken it to be 54.5, and summation FD we have got the value to be minus 150, and summation F the value we have already got to be 66. Now if you are solving, you will find the value will come to 52.227, which we have obtained through our straightforward method. So once again we will be having the mean salary as 52,227. So that is the shortcut method. Definitely to help you, definitely the value that we have got, it actually helps in the calculation and makes your calculation easier, and for that we are using the shortcut method. Now we come to the next method, right, which we term as the step deviation method, and the step deviation method is just an improvisation over your shortcut method. So in this case, what do we find is in the shortcut method we found out the deviation. Here also we are having this concept of assumed mean. Just like your shortcut method, we are going to have the assumed mean, and the mean here is calculated by A plus summation FU by F into H. Now U is actually the step deviation which we talk about. Now step deviation is deviation divided by the class width. So here we have the assumed mean to be 54.5, just as we have done in the previous case. So in the first case it is 34.5 minus 54.5, giving you minus 20. The class width in this case we definitely have found that it is upper class boundary minus lower class boundary, that is 39.5 minus 29.5 is equal to 10. So here x minus a, which we have got 34.5 minus 54.5 is 20, minus 20 divided by 10 is giving you minus 2. 34.5 minus 54.5 giving you minus 20 divided by 10 is minus 2. Next 44.5 minus 54.5, right, that is minus 10 divided by 10 gives you minus 1. Here the value will be 0, here the value will be plus 1, and here the value will be plus 2. So when your 10 now becomes 1 and 2, the multiplication part actually becomes much easier now. So the first case, now we have to multiply f by u. So this is minus 24 that we have got. This will be minus 13. This will be 0, and this will be 10, and this will be 6 into 2, 12. So here the summation value of summation FU that we will be getting is 10 and 12 makes 22 with a positive sign, and here we have 24 and 13 as 37 with a negative sign, and so it is minus 15. The total summation comes to be minus 15 here as the summation fu value. So the mean value which we will be getting here will be assumed mean, the value which we have already got as 54.5, plus summation fu we have got as minus 15 by 66 multiplied by the class width which we have got as 10. And if you solve, you will once again get the value to be 52.227. So once again, just as we have obtained by the previous two methods, your shortcut method and your straightforward method, the mean salary is rupees 52,227. That's how we calculate the mean using the three different methods.